You can use Python itself instead of using it. Okay. Okay. So sorry for the audio. I think the audio gave a lot of issues. Anyways, I'm going to share this link to that video, and that was taken from YouTube only. It's not an issue. So as we have seen, like elementary data types, uh, like numeric, integer, and float. We have seen string, boolean. Then there was a question like, are we going to talk about dictionaries or hash tables? So that we have in sequence, we have list, tuple, and sets, and the key value pairs is dictionary that we are going to see. So with this, let us start to our second module. You
Sir,
say?
can you please visit the previous slide, the elementary data types?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So someone wanted to know like how to start. So basically, open this collab and then upload. Just drag and drop. It is there. Okay. So yeah. So this we have seen like numeric type and float type. We'll come to that logical operators. So that was data type and operations will come. So this Boolean operators that we have, that will also come to that. Yeah. So this we have seen. Now we have data type of sequence type. Okay. So in sequence we have three things that we can use. One is list, tuple, and the third one is set. So I'm not going to in detail of set. But generally, people use set for set operations only, and there is no order, there is no duplicate element. So as a result, the use of sets are very restricted. However, list and tuples are used generally, and in these two, list is generally used in programming languages because of the power and flexibility that list provides. So how to define a list? We'll see. So suppose if I run this shell. What I have done is basically you can see earlier you used to type numbers, then string in quotes, single quotes, double quotes are true false that we have seen. Here what I am doing, I am putting two brackets, two square brackets, open and close, okay, and then running it. So it in output it says like same thing. So if I try to understand what is this basically, so what you have to do in Python, if you want to understand what is this, so what you have to do, you have to say type, and in bracket, whatever you want to understand, just type in that inside it. It will give you the type of that particular whatever object string you have typed it. Okay. So if it is written in quotes, it will say it is a string. If it is number, it will say it is a integer or a float. Or else if something else is there with some name, it will actually try to find out the type of that and then give you the type. So this is another thing to explore. Like if you are having doubt, we'll explore like what is the type of that, and from that type you can understand what to do now. So this also we'll see frequently. So suppose if I want to define a list, how to define a list? So basically that those square brackets, empty list, and if you want to put any element inside that, so we have to type those elements uh, separated by comma. Okay. So if you type elements separated by comma, then it becomes a list. Okay. And this is what is printed in the output. So if you have, suppose I want to define a list wherein my elements, sometimes they are string, they are numbers, okay, and there is a chance that there is a Boolean type also. So what will happen? Is it allow or not? See, It allows. So it allows you all kind of objects within list. In fact, you can actually put object functions, anything that is there in Python, you can actually type in within the list and it is available. Okay. So suppose, what if I have a list? I want to put that list within the list. So can it will allow me to do that, or there is a further list into it and there is a element inside. Is it allowed? Yes, it does allow. So list allows list element within the list, and within one list you can have any kind of type of uh, elements. Only condition is whatever you are typing, that should be allowed one. If something is not allowed, then there is a issue. Suppose, as I we have seen, suppose if I put something like this, then no issues. Earlier it was integer, now it is a float. But suppose if I put something like this, if it is matching the correct type, if the type is not matched, anyways your whatever element you have put, that is not correct, so it will not allow. So you can see syntax error. Whatever you have written, it is saying that there is syntax error. And if you remember, we got same syntax error when we try to put two dots between numbers. Okay. So it checks that, and whatever is allowed, it will allow. If it is not allowed, it will say that it is not allowed. Okay. So that way, we understand like how to define a list. And if you want to do some exploration, you are interested in doing new things, you just make some crazy mistakes and see like what Python is saying on your mistakes. So from there you can understand like what is actually to be done or what is not to be done.
This means that it's like an array, and Python is having a list which does the job of array as well as dynamic array, or of any type of element can be there.
Let me clear this out. This is not an array. List is list, and array is a different thing in Python. So array is defined in NumPy package. In the native Python package modules, we do not have array. Okay, and array is handled in a very different way. There we do not have that much of flexibility. For example, if you are trying to make 2D array, the length of those should be consistent. Here, that is not the requirement. You can have anything. It's not going to check that it is 2D array or 1D array, and the length consistency has to be there or not. Those things it doesn't actually check. And the elements also, you cannot have different types of elements in an array. Here you can have it. So it is a little different. However, list is much more powerful than array. Uh,
Yeah.
but array has got its own power, mostly in numerical analysis and data analysis. We use arrays. Our Python pandas package, which is generally used for data analysis, it is actually using array at the backend. So that is more data intensive and more optimized for handling more data. However, list is for other purpose. So we will see like different usage of list, and these things that we see as a elementary right now, it is like our elementary ABCDs. So even if you are going to do PhD, you cannot get away from the ABCD. You have to use ABCDs. So meaning we are going to see list and other variables all the time going forward. Okay. So second data type that we are going to see of the sequence type is tuple. So what is the difference between tuple? Here we have a square bracket and here we have a small bracket. Okay. Um, if you are having only one element for list, there is no issue. You can have only one element. The comma is not needed. We can see quickly here. Suppose if you put one thing here and say it understand. In case of tuple, there is an issue. If you are having only one element, you cannot have a tuple without comma. So you have to supply comma. Although it looks ridiculous, but yes, this is something is there. Okay, so this is empty tuple, and then if you have only one element in the tuple, see bracket is gone. So it treats this as a number. It doesn't treat this as a tuple. And if you try to see like what is the type of this, see it is saying it is integer. It's not even saying it is a tuple. So to make it tuple, what to do? So if I put a comma there, see, it says now type is tuple. So this is very, you can say exception. You can say it's not following the same pattern here. But if you put one comma, Python is okay. It understands this as a tuple. However, for other things, yes, you can keep on doing like that. Okay. But tuple is very, very restrictive. Okay. That we will see like how it is going to be restrictive. And the reason for that, why tuple is made restrictive is very, very, important, meaning many times you do not want to keep changing things. And list by nature is basically mutable, and tuple by nature is immutable. So if you are not aware of this mutable, immutable stuff, and if you are just using list because it's very convenient, there is a chance we get into trouble, which is very, very difficult to debug. And when I say it is very difficult, it's really very difficult. Until unless you understand the
Sir,
concept of immutable. Yes.
so why we use list?
Okay, okay. So the shortcut is yes. I think my mistake. I shared this in the beginning. So if you keep your cursor there, okay. So it says run cell control plus enter. So if you type control plus enter, it will run the cell, or else you just click on this. Okay. Now there is a question like why we use list. So we are talking about data types here. Okay, or data types in Python. And as I said, like these data types are defined in such a way we should be able to provide information from the real world to the computer. This is the basic need of this kind of data types. And within computer, everything is structured, and within real life, nothing is structured. I mean, I don't know, miss. Can we say something? It is a string in real life. We don't care actually, because we use things like physical object, a string, numbers in a very, very haphazard manner. And as a human, we understand everything, but computer doesn't understand it, and it doesn't know physical word. It only understands numbers, text, and things like that. So basically, to give more options to the user to provide real world things, these are the different data types that is implemented in computer programming languages, for example, Python. So suppose in case of list, suppose you are a list of items somewhere and you want to deal with that. And there is a variety of items. Okay. Meaning something will be object, something will be rate of the object, something will be something else. So how to provide that information to the computer so that you can do something on top of that. So these data types are actually defined for that. It is basic idea is not everything, but most of the things from the real world, user should be able to plug into the computer and do on top of that. Okay. So this becomes basically list becomes one of the way to do that, and they have made it ready-made for us, meaning you don't have to define your own list. They have given it ready-made so that just use it and do your job. And entire Python is defined that way only. Those packages are use specific, and if you are using like this, for example, if you are developing some web application, so one package is dedicated to that. Use that package, and everything will be ready-made there. Meaning they understand what is should be done if you want to create a web application. Okay, and if you want to use something some input from the outside world, what should be there? So everything is ready-made there. Just use it. So similarly, this is also a ready-made stuff for the people to provide outside information to the computer. Okay,
To
I
add
think in
here,
our,
to add here, libraries which are there for Python, which has made this programming language more efficient and more useful in the real world.
yes, yes. The idea is to take the real world into the computer more easily. Okay, that is the power of pro computer. If you are not
C
able to take
language,
real
other
world,
languages, yeah.
yeah.
C and other languages, you cannot do all these things. you should, if you want to do, then you have to write a lot of code for these things.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, this is list. Yes, as I said, like we are going to come back to these things again. And second thing, these things are becoming backbone for our programming. So we are going to use them all the time. So I think many other things will come become clear in due course. So yeah, this is tuple. So it is more restricted than this. And as I was discussing, like mutable and immutable. So I am giving one example, like how list is a mutable thing. And if you are not aware, like how mutable works, then there is a issue that may pop up, and it will become very difficult to debug. So we have defined one list X. Okay. So I am introducing two things here without actually explaining, but let me quickly explain. I am giving this variable without having giving quotes. So if you put anything without quotes, that is assumed as a variable. And when if you are not putting thing properly, then it will throw a name error. Okay. Then I'm putting this equal sign. So it means X is equal to this. So now if you want to see what is the type of X, then Python will say the type of X is type of list, meaning whatever is there on the right will become the type of whatever is there in the left, and also the value of the left will be same. Because you cannot handle this thing all the time. And suppose you have to do modification on top, then you cannot modify the original thing. You can modify to the thing which is assigned to. Okay. So original is always there. This 1 comma 2 is always 1 comma 2. But if you want to have 1 comma 2 comma 3, then it has to be assigned to someone, and that can be changed. Okay. Or else if you change it here, then their original thing is gone. There is no original 1 comma 2. The original itself is changed now. Okay. So yes, so this is two things as we have seen, like X equal to, so this is name. So we assign this to name, and then we put equal sign. So this gives you the type and the value to X. Okay, that we have seen. Like if you print what is the type, it will give what is the type, and then if you print the value, it will give the value what is the value. Okay.
Uh,
Sir, can you please repeat mutable and immutable, please?
Okay. So suppose what I have done, I have taken one other variable that is called y, and I have given value and type of x to y by putting an equal sign. So now y is exactly same as x, right? Because I have put equal sign. Okay. Now what I am doing is I am putting one operation on y. So dot append is a method of type list. So if there is a list type, there is an associated method, and I am using that method to add one more item to list uh, y, which is now defined as a x. So if I print this value x, so y, what should we see? We should see like, okay, this x was 1 comma 2, and then y is 1 comma 2 comma 3, meaning I have appended one element in y. But after that, if we try to see like what happened to my x, so see, x is also changed. Okay. So suppose if you think my x is 1 comma 2, and you want to do something with this original value, and you want to change only y, and you think that no, y contains 3 and x doesn't contain 3, that is wrong. That is not the case, because lists are mutable. If you make any changes here, it is going to make changes there. Why it is happening so in the programming language? Basically, when you say equal, what it has done is it has assigned the memory of x to y. If you are assigning memory of something to some other variable, and if you change the variable, then those variable who are accessing same memory, they will actually get changed because they are accessing same memory. If you are creating another memory, different memory, then if you change the value of one, the other will not be changed. So this is one very important aspect of list. If someone doesn't care about it, then he will have this issue, and then in the actual program, it will do random thing and it will create issue. So how to manage that part? So one simple way is to say copy x dot copy. If you say x dot copy, then what is happening is uh, it is creating a copy of x and assigning that copy to y. So now this time what is happening? Type and value of x is given to y, but the memory of y is different than the memory of x. As a result, uh, if you change y, now x is not changed. X will remain same as original. So yes, this is very important aspect. We should always be careful about using list. Otherwise, this is very handy and very useful. Then one more data set that data type that we are talking about was key value pairs. So this is you can say very useful data type, because from there whatever you see, if you are aware of JSON format and other thing, you will see that it looks very close to JSON. Okay, so Python dictionaries and JSON formats are very close to each other, and we know that JSON is one of the format to communicate between computers. So that is used in all internet-based stuff where you want to do communication with the data, and you have these key value pairs, and then pass it to that APIs and all, and then you will get written in JSON format and use it. So it is very powerful. Okay. Um, so how to define dictionaries? So we have seen some square bracket and then small brackets, and then we have these curly braces. Okay. So if you are having anything in curly braces, along with these things, along with something which is at the left, there is something in between, which is colon. So this colon has to be colon only. You cannot change this. And there is something at the right. Okay. So if you do something like this, then it defines a dictionary.
The key value pair you are saying.
Yes, it's a key value pair. So it is dictionary. And how to know it is the dictionary? So type and then put these two curly braces. So yes, it says it is dict. So short form of dictionary is dict, and dict is basically a function which is used to define a dictionary. So suppose if I say x is equal to dict, okay. So what it does, it will actually define x as a empty dictionary. See? Okay. So either you write like this or you say dict and assign this value to something. Both of them are empty dictionary. So suppose if you want to create your dictionary with some key and some value, again the issue will come, like what is allowed keys and what is allowed values. So basically again those basic elementary data types you have to respect and see like what is allowed within dictionary and what is not allowed within dictionary. So yeah, so if both the things are string, it is allowed. If the key is a string and value is an integer, it is allowed. And suppose if you are having your key as a boolean and value as a integer, again it is allowed, no issues. But you can say that in boolean case your key and value can be only true or false. Okay, so you can have only these two, and you can have these values integer, or we have seen like value can be uh, string also, and at the same time like you can have boolean as a value also. So third thing would be like, suppose if you want your key as an integer, yes, that is also allowed. You can have key as an integer and value as an integer. Suppose you are having float. So if you want to see like whether float is allowed or not as a key and value, yes, it is allowed as a key as well as values. So anything which is value can become value for with anything as a key. Okay, so that is also allowed. So suppose if I want to use integer as a key and string as a value, yes, it is also allowed. And what else if I want to use my list as a value? Is it allowed? Yes, it is allowed. So again, let us do some crazy thing. If I put my list as a key, what will happen? So it is saying unhashable type list, and this is saying type error, meaning dictionary is having something as a key, and the type that can act as a key is fixed. Okay. If you are using something which is not defined as a type in dictionary, you cannot use it. So all these list and sequence type data types, we cannot use them as a key for this. However, we can use all of them as a value. Yeah. So this one, this is allowed. Okay. Suppose we have integer key and then the string value, string key, integer value, string key and list value, and a string key and a tuple value. Yes, it is allowed. And suppose if you want to use dictionary within dictionary, yes. So this is a key, and then value itself is a dictionary, wherein then within the dictionary we have integer and string as a key value. Okay, so all these permutation combinations are allowed within the dictionary. The last thing was like set, as I said, this is least important and generally people do not use them. We can define them. Only thing is if you are having a set, you cannot have elements which are repeated. So if you repeat the element, it will not respect that, because from the definition itself, a set cannot have repeated values. Okay, set is always of unique value, and in set there is nothing called sequence. So sequence has got no meaning in set. So basically, it's a collection of objects. Okay, and in the collection itself, you cannot have different types. So the type of collection has to be is specific. Okay, so yeah, you can see like there in the list you can put anything, but here it does not allow those kind of thing as a item of the set. Okay, again, so we cannot have empty dictionary, we cannot have list, we can have different thing in the set. However, these numbers, strings, they are allowed. Okay.
Voice is not audible, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, looks like Dilshad Bhai has dropped. Let him rejoin.
Okay. Sorry, some technical issue. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So sets, as I said, like we cannot have different kind of element within the set, which is anyways allowed in other like lists and dictionaries. Okay, and tuples. So yes, so basically there are different types of data structures, and each of them, what can become their member is restricted. So we have to actually understand that, and accordingly we have to use. To know that, how to know that which is allowed and which is not allowed. One is simple. You can just do experiment and understand that. Second thing, as I said, like you can go to stack overflow search and see what is there. And third thing, you can go to Python website, and they have got very good documentation. You can learn from there as well. Okay, so these are the different ways to learn if you are having some error from the Python. However, in programming and especially in Python, whenever you are seeing some kind of error, okay, do not try to ignore and do not try to bypass it. Look at the error, try to read the message. For example, this one, type error, okay. So and try to understand. This is very, very handy for you to debug your code later on. If the code becomes very, very big, then understanding what was the type and what was the error, it becomes very, very handy. And in turn, this is the way to learn from Python. So Python is itself is going to teach you. So respect this error, try to understand the error. In very soon you will understand those set of errors that you are committing and how to resolve them. Okay, and then your error will not come. Your Python will become bug free very soon. So by this we are at 12:25. If you are having question, we can take and close this session.
Hello, Dilshad sir. So,
Yes.
just I want to know, like, if we want to give list from outside of the code, so what is the
Yes.
syntax and how we can give it?
We'll see input output that we'll see how to pass argument while in execution or before execution. Okay, like flat argument or with key value. Okay, those things we'll see. So our
Yeah.
input output related thing we'll see.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, dictionary is a set of ordered or unordered list of elements.
This is set is not ordered. There is no basically
dictionary.
in set meaning of order is not there. So it mathematically that set is same as this set. So it is
Sir,
just a bucket of element.
In dictionary, sir, it is a set of ordered or unordered in dictionary.
So yeah, this is good question. Earlier we used to have dictionaries which is unordered, but looks like the use of dictionaries when they are ordered is more than when they are not ordered. So essentially they used to have this optimization of their storage. So because of that, they used to put things in unordered option. Right now, I think after Python 3.7 or so, they have made it ordered.
Okay, sir.
So now all dictionaries are ordered. However, in there is a Python package where you can actually have an ordered dictionary defined for yourself, and that will be surely in order. Especially if you are using older version or you want to have compatibility with older versions, you